But yes, welcome. So, as I promised, I will recap the funny Fortnite storyline. From my understanding, it starts with this nerd. Wrong nerd. Nope. This nerd. Alright, so you see this dude? Giga Chat, exactly. Alright, so you see this nerd? He was like, this was before I was playing, so I have actually no idea. I mean, this is completely accurate. Alright, so this dude went all, oh! Kaboom! Right? And he landed and he's like, oh, I don't think he actually said anything. But, yeah. And then he did this thing where he landed on this island, right? That's like all loopy. Yeah. There was some stuff happened in between. There's a mech. I don't know. Alright, and then we got this person, right? This is Dr. Sloan of the Imagined Order. They're the bad guys. You know, they're like the Empire from Star Wars, but like Giga nerds. All right, so they're like, oh, woo, I'm gonna. All right, they're gonna, you know, like, oh, I'm controlling this time loop thing. Woo, every 20 minutes. Woo, we're gonna work with Lex Luthor. Yes, that is canon. All right, and then these guys, they show up. They're like, oh no, that's bad. Oh, sorry, it's Dwayne. Do I have a voice changer installed? I do. Hold on, let me get this accurate for you.
Alright, these guys are like, yo, that's bad. Don't do that. That's bad.
And these guys are like, we're gonna do it anyway. And then I got the wrong person. There we go. And then this guy shows up. He's in league with this guy. There's like 5 other dudes, but I don't want to download all those. Oh no, the Kirby song's over. All right. What else do we got? All right, back to the story. So these guys are like, that's bad. We can't have reality explode. And the Imagined Order's like, well, we're gonna do it anyway. That's the wrong. That's what happens when you don't label anything, folks. Label everything. All right, and then they're like, well, we're gonna do it anyway. And this nerd shows up with a giant purple cube. Is like, you know, I'm gonna screw both of you. All right, I'm gonna take over. She's like Thanos, right? Oh yeah. Speaking, I missed a very important thing. Hold on. All right, real perfect tunes. All right. So these 3 nerds are at a war, right? But mainly these 2 right now. But then out of nowhere, blam! Galactus shows up. You know why not? So he's like, oh, I'm gonna hold on. I could get the. I'll get a deep voice changer for him.
This one's called Deep. Okay, he's like, yo, I'm here to eat things. Devour worlds, and then Thor shows up, he's like, no.
And then that's the Marvel season. Alright, so, and then, back to this. Some aliens show up, you don't need to worry about that. Or that nerd. Okay, they're like, yo, you know what, screw this, I'm blowing everything up. So they blow everything up. These nerds on the right here, they flip the island upside down, right? Yeah. That's how that happens. Don't think too hard about it. And they're like, "Wow, we won. We defeated." And then these nerds show up again, and they're like, "Hey, haha, joke's on you." No. And then these nerds are like, "Well, we're actually that one doesn't talk." These plus like 5 other dudes show up, and they're like, "No," right? And then there's an actual war season, right? And then they're like, "Blam, boom." Right, and then only the most quality content here today, folks. Anyway, and then they're like, oh no. Here we go. Oh no. Ooh. And now the Imagined Order is dead, right? The bad guys, they're dead. Then we have an entire season of peace. But wait. Darth Vader shows up. This is canon. This is canon. It's like, I'm Darth Vader. Yeah, that's actually pretty much what that amounts to. Anyway, and then suddenly, I don't have a picture for it, but they're like, oh no, liquid metal. And, oh yeah, this dude's gone. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he's just gone. There's a comic book. I don't want to explain the comic book. I thought this thing would be active by now. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, Doctor Doom's canon, by the way. Yeah, and then this nerd shows up, is like, hey, I'm bringing liquid metal, I'm consuming the island, and now we're here. You're welcome. Now you're all caught up on the Fortnite story. Practically. There's some other stuff, but it doesn't matter. I think. I don't know. Are we chilling here for 40 minutes? I mean, I could do that. So... Bro's had it too much. Excuse me. Bro's fed up. So yeah. Back to explaining the Fortnite storyline. Right. So this nerd showed up. I'll get in depth, right? Oh, how could I forget? There's one more very important. This blonde ding dong. Alright, you see that dude? That is Jonesy, or Agent Jones, right? So, like 2 years ago, this is when I started playing, after the Marvel season actually. But this idiot, right? He brought Kratos, Master Chief, the Predator, a T-800, yeah, a bunch of random super murder dudes from fiction, right? And he's like, well, I work for the bad guy. Guess what? He didn't work for the... Oh, and someone died. Who died? This dude. I should get closer to the mic. This dude, right? He's like, oh no, I've made a grave mistake. And turns out, opening portals to other realities isn't good. He's like, oh no. And then this dude... Yes, I got it right for once. First try. Alright, this dude showed up. He's like, yo, you suck. And he's like, I know, but I can bring you to Geno. Let's go. Yeah, gather around the campfire, nerds. Oh yeah, you guys can't see. Quality stream here, folks. So this dude. And one's dead again. They are dropping like flies. Come on. Anyway, back to my storytelling, because death is not an excuse to stop. So this dude, right? Where was I? Right. This dude showed up. Now, let me move this down so I can put the other dude over it. He's like, you suck. And he's like, don't hurt. I could bring you to Geno. And he's like, oh, okay. What'd you do to the big reality ball of death? You see that thing in the back? Yeah, that's the big reality ball of death. All right. So he's like, what did you do? And he's like, I did nothing. You did, and then he's like, oh, you did something. Anyway, and then he put himself in the giant murder ball. And then, since we have time, I may as well go over the comic books. Why not? I could literally grab him right here. All right. So, because he went in the murder ball of death, right? Is that Travis Scott? You see, because he went in the murder ball of death, right? He teleported. You're probably thinking, oh, where did he teleport? See, that is a good question, right? This is a university lecture. That is true. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you're gonna be graded on this later, alright? Alright, back to the lecture, right? Well, let me turn it down a little bit. Alright, so this dude, right? He was like, oh, where is it? He's like, okay, he put himself in the murder ball of death, right? He's like, he teleported somewhere. I don't know where, but he teleported somewhere. So, of all the places to teleport, he was teleported to Gotham City, home of the Batman. Yes, this is canon. This is canon. With a capital C. And then, suddenly... there's some other comic book stuff, but it really doesn't matter. I will explain one part in a minute, though. And then, he shows up. I don't want to see your forehead, Robert. Alright, so, back to the story. He shows up in Batman over here, right? He's like, what are you doing in my city? And he's like, hold on. You really should have hooked up my stream deck. This is hard to do with just a mouse. Alright. And then he's like, this scary dude here, what's the danger? Nope, that one sucked.
This is the one I was using? Yeah. So, he's like, I need to get back to Fortnite. I need to go back to Fortnite.
And then Batman's like, alright. And then in Metropolis, I'm not getting a picture, there's too many pictures for this. Alright. And then they go to Metropolis where there's a portal thing, right? And like, Reverse Flash and all these murder supervillains are trying to get in, right? And then, guess what? The Batman Who Laughs shows up. Please tell me I can find a funny image for that. Do I need to bring up, paint? Oh, you know what? I'll pull up paint. Why not? Here we go. Alright, so we got paint here, right? And this nerd, right? He's like, whoop. Hold on, let me. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Whoop. And then this nerd's all like, haha, hee-hoo, busting out the whiteboard. Yep. We're getting real professional up here. I need to change this song. I need to make it more. What's the term? Perfect. So he's all haha hoo hoo, and then Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Foundation Man, is all like, hold on, let me. Good enough. He's like, no. So he's trying to go into super murder ball of death. Hold on. Because then he could go like conquer reality. I don't know. I didn't pay that much attention. So he's all like, yeah, yo, I'm leaving. He's like, no. And then he kills him. Hold on. Foundation murders him. And he's like, oh no. So yeah. That was the comic book. All right, let me clear this up. How much longer do we have? 26 minutes. Oh, wow. Hope you guys' sanity can hold out until then. We're gonna rewind a little. It gets a little complicated. I hope you can keep up. So, earlier, Batman, right? You know, the Batman. He showed up on the island, on the super murder island thing, right? Oh. All right. So he showed up. It was like, yo. I mean, he can't talk. That's one of the things you can't talk in Fortnite. It's canon. So he's like, yo, I'm trying to get off the Fortnite land. And Catwoman's there too, but I'm too lazy to get a, image of Catwoman. So, right? He's like, yo, I'm trying to get out. And then Catwoman, we need a representation. She's like, we gotta go. And he's like, Anyway, so for like 3 issues, they're trying to escape the loop, right? The time loop thing. And then, this is canon, by the way. This is unironically kind of sick. So, they're like, we can't let Batman leave. He's too Batman-like. Bam. Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe. This is canon. They actually fight. It is kind of sick. Alright, here we go. See? It's canon. Unironically, kind of cool. You see, this has all been ironic, right? I've been doing the funny haha Fortnite lore. This is actually cool. So, in the comic book, they have an entire issue is dedicated to these dudes fighting over and over. And at the end, they get a mutual respect. Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe respects Batman. And that is canon. Yeah, right, Batman escapes. After Snake Eyes was like, alright, I'ma die, because I'll come back in like 2 minutes anyway. I'm gonna die, and then you can go on to the second loop. That's a whole thing I don't want to get into. So, but after that, they show up, right? He goes in this new place, and boom, guess who's there? It's not as cool. I will admit it's not as cool. Alright, so they get there, boom, Deathstroke Fortnite. Right? He shows up. He's like, yo, I don't remember who I am, because that's a thing that happens in this. You don't remember who you are. Sorry, very key detail I forgot to mention. Your memory's wiped when you get here, right? So, he's like, yo, I don't know who I am, but we should work together. Catwoman, right? They're a trio, and then there's a bazillion other dudes. Anyway, they're trying to escape the island again. Galactus is briefly kind of mentioned. Also very cool in of itself. So they find a way out. Batman's like, yo, we should leave. And they're like, yeah, but then, boom, they get down, but boom, someone dies. Major plot twist. The fish dude's dead. And it turns out, Deathstroke knew who he was the entire time, and he was hired by the bad guy. Boom! Who saw that coming, except for literally everyone. Anyway, that is the Fortnite story thus far. But I'll cover one more thing. So, I briefly mentioned that some aliens attacked. Suddenly they come out of nowhere. Boom! Out of nowhere, right? They sense the big murder ball of death. that can also transport you to another universe, right? And they come from the sky. Woo! So, the aliens are here. That's bad. And then they bring their super weapon. They need to figure out, hey, what do we do? How are we gonna win this fight? How are we gonna win, right? They bring their super weapon. Ariana Grande. They use Ariana Grande to read your mind so they can figure out how to beat you. Ariana Grande is the enemy. Never forget. All canon, by the way. You can look it up yourself. I am not lying. So, back to the lesson. So, key players in this fight. Oh, how could I forget? Other key player. Rick Sanchez from the hit show Rick and Morty, right? And he's all like, oh, Morty, we gotta stop the alien, Morty. He's like, oh, jeez, Rick, okay. Anyway, back to the point. These are all key players, right? And they're like, well, there's only one way to beat the aliens. I honestly should have come prepared. Alright, a nuke. So, Rick's grand plan is to nuke the alien. So it's all... oh, kaboom, right? It goes kabloo real fast, right? And then some purple cubes happen. Turns out the leader of the alien was her. And yeah, that's everything. I could talk about the Marvel comics, I guess. Oh, yes, there is a vital piece in the Marvel comics. Alright, you know, I'm not even gonna tell you the story, I'm just telling you this one part. Alright, y'all know him, y'all love him. And everyone loves Wolverine. You know, the best Canadian aside from Ryan Reynolds. You know. See, I can say that because I'm Canadian. Anyway, back to my point. You know, y'all know Wolverine. If you've read the comics, you know exactly where I'm going with this. This is canon to Fortnite, by the way. Getting that render. Excuse me. Alright, these two. So, pop quiz, right? Students, that's what I'm calling you all right now. Students, right? Hold on, let me pull the lecture hall back up. Alright, students, how many of you know what Wolverine's type is, right? How many of you know what's his consistent relationship type, right? Who is he interested in? Oh yeah, by the way, the answer was redheads. Just for the record. Jean Grey. Wolverine was canonically in a relationship with a Fortnite character.